Hey guys, Skullduggery67, and I am currently taking a break from what I normally do to bring you this. So, with The Last Jedi right around the corner, the hype is up. We've already seen a first look at the teaser trailer, and it looks pretty awesome. So I think this is a good time to reflect on the previous movies. Today I am ranking the Star Wars movies from worst to best. Now, before we get started, I know everybody else who does a list like this would say this, but there is no objective truth here, okay? Everyone has different preferences. I have friends who felt Revenge of the Sith was their favourite movie. But, it doesn't matter. I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear which movie is your favourite. But please keep it in a friendly tone. I don't want to hear this movie is rubbish. I want to hear I wasn't a fan of this movie. I'm only ranking the movies based on their popularity and critical acclaim. This isn't my personal list, so my personal opinion is not going to have an effect on this list. Not that I think it'll make a whole lot of difference to the feedback I get. I'm also only including the 3 main trilogies and the anthology series, so the animated Clone Wars movie will not be included here. I know you've seen the movies, but possible spoiler alert for all of them. Let's get started. Number 8, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. There was a bit of debate as to whether this movie or Attack of the Clones should get this spot, but at the end of the day, it seems to be generally agreed upon that The Phantom Menace is the weaker film, and has done the worst critically. The movie falls under slow pacing and poorly written characters and dialogue.
No, Mrs. Stay!
There were dislikable performances coming from currently renowned actors. That's a sign of poor writing, bad acting, or both. While the lightsaber fight with Darth Maul was praised for its choreography, speed, and Duel of the Fates by John Williams, it also marks the end for Darth Maul, a one-dimensional character with extremely little screen time. If you guys were disappointed by The Force Awakens after 10 years, imagine waiting 14 years for this movie. Number 7, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. A really big criticism about this movie is that this is the movie where George Lucas really left practical effects for CGI and blue screen. Once again, this movie suffers from sloppy writing and storytelling.
I don't like sand.
While we did have some notably improved performances from some people, Hayden Christensen's performance is universally hated. The characters once again come out as one-dimensional, uninteresting, and even worse, dislikable. It wasn't all bad though. It's definitely worth noting the scene in which Anakin finds his mother Shmi, who sadly dies in his arms. The scene is heartbreaking and gives a strong visual representation of one of the events that will eventually lead Anakin to become Darth Vader.
I killed them. I killed them all.
Number 6, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
We'll try.
This is where the Star Wars movies get good, ladies and gentlemen. I know a number of people likely prefer this movie to the next movie on this list, but I know of friends who reckon said next movie is their personal favourite. Still, I have friends who say this movie is their favourite. Again, a bit of debate as to where the two movies stand, and again, there is no objective truth. At the end of the day, it was just a balance between popularity and critical acclaim. This movie truly did what it could to redeem the prequels. Visually striking action sequences, improved storytelling, memorable scenes, and better pacing puts this movie leaps and bounds ahead of the previous films on this list and in order of the trilogy. While the movie still suffered from some cheesy writing, that pales in comparison to what this movie does well. This hasn't affected the list. but I personally want to say that the lightsaber fight with Anakin and Obi-Wan is my personal favourite lightsaber fight. Not only does it come with awesome choreography, speed, scale, and might I add, really cool cinematography, I also felt it was the most meaningful fight. Anakin makes his final turn to the dark side, and it shows how far Anakin has fallen. The prequels are not the most renowned films ever, but I think it's safe to say that this movie has the high ground.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
Number 5. Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. While considered to be the worst of the original trilogy, it still holds up as a climactic ending to probably the biggest saga in cinema history. I know a lot of people prefer this movie to Revenge of the Sith, but it simply came down to a balance of popularity and critics. At the end of the day, there is no way of knowing which movie is better, and this movie in particular is very renowned. It brushes very close to Revenge of the Sith, and there was a lot of debate as to where this movie should go. This movie was just a bit bland in comparison to the previous movies in the original trilogy, as it did not come with the same moral significance, nor was it as well told. Some scenes even felt a bit slow. Nevertheless, we got to see all the characters we'd come to love all come together in an epic final battle to destroy the Empire, and the fastest lightsaber fight seen up to that point, giving Luke his own close shave with the dark side. Number 4. Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Okay, this is where I'm going to start building up some controversy. There is a lot of debate. Some of it may even be heated as to whether The Force Awakens or Rogue One is a better movie. I have found it very difficult to balance out the public opinion between the two movies. I have searched long and hard to find the popular opinion on the matter. But at the end of the day, the movie seems to remain pretty equal with its amount of supporters. The only reason this movie has been placed at 4th spot is because critically it did not do as well as The Force Awakens. On to the good side. This movie is definitely a unique Star Wars movie. This movie doesn't come with the same aesthetic style of the previous films, it comes with a new setting and new themes. This movie comes with a look of more conventional war movies, rather than the colourful Star Wars movies. Rogue One's setting is more like the conflict in the Middle East. While I wouldn't say this affects how good or bad the movie is, it definitely shows that the movie is looking at a more contemporary issue, and I personally feel this is quite important, actually. The movie was also praised, rightfully so, for giving the rebellion shades of grey. It combats the black and white philosophy of good and evil from the previous films and adds value to the Star Wars universe. Number 3. Episode 7, The Force Awakens. There were mixed opinions about this movie even upon release. However, for those it pleased, the movie still holds strong. Let's face it, the only reason that this movie has received more noticeable criticism is because it's the first Star Wars movie in 10 years. I don't think it's receiving more criticism than other movies, as opposed to receiving more attention than other movies. Let's face it, it's Star Wars. If you didn't like the film, you're gonna diss it. If you didn't like the film, that is fine. No movie is for everyone. There has been a lot of debate upon how good the movie was, but you absolutely cannot deny the critical success and popularity, and let's not let this be overclouded by the negativity it received. If you take a look at a bunch of top 10 best movies of 2015 lists, I can guarantee you The Force Awakens will be somewhere on that list. The movie has introduced us to new characters while including the cast of the original trilogy. This is only the first movie in the trilogy, so the story will flesh out more once the new movies come out. I promise I haven't allowed this to affect the list, but personally, I don't feel that the movie's heavy reference to A New Hope should take away from the quality of the film. A lot of people have used this against the film, even saying as much as it's a complete copy of A New Hope. But I feel if you focus too much on this, you're not going to enjoy the bits of the film that worked well, or were new. I haven't allowed this to affect the list. This is just my personal opinion that I wanted to get out there. Number 2, Episode 4, A New Hope.
For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic. Before the Dark Times. Before the Empire.
Right to where it all began. George Lucas took the world by storm with this movie. With its compelling narrative and likable characters, this movie is the start of the most iconic film franchise in cinema history. One of the best things about this film is that the special effects, storytelling and action sequences have aged really well and still hold strong today. All of the success of Star Wars can trace its origin back to this one movie. This movie, alongside Jaws, also started toy collection and merchandising. A young protagonist, a mysterious mentor, an evil villain, a lone ranger and his sidekick all make for a recipe of success in what has become the most iconic and one of the most influential movie franchises of all time. Number 1, Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. This isn't just the best Star Wars movie. It ranks as one of the best action movies, one of the best sci-fi movies, one of the best sequel movies, and one of the overall best movies ever. This movie was not afraid to take risks when it came to how the story played out. Generally, it's the good guys who win and take the day, but this movie shows the lowest point for our characters, and this time, the bad guys win. Unlike A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back takes a darker tone and builds lore behind the Force itself, showing how seductive the dark side truly is.
Yes, Jedi strength flows from the Force, but beware of the dark side. Once you start down the dark path, forever will dominate your destiny. Consume you it will.
Well, there's the list, folks. I am 150% certain that there are people out there who are going to disagree with this list. But please don't go into a rage down in the comments. For the sake of charity and a non-toxic comment section, please, I would much rather you say something like, I wasn't a fan of this film, rather than, this film sucked. Okay, that's just how fights start, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. But don't let this discourage you from giving your own opinion. If you want, even leave your own list down in the comments. I can guarantee you this list is not correct. No list is. There is no objective truth to any of this. I want to hear your opinion on these movies. If you have any suggestions for videos, leave them in the comments too. I am thinking of having a battle between Rogue One and The Force Awakens to see which film is the better movie. So I want to hear your opinion on that idea as well. So let me know what you think of that. Okay. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in December.